The third Presidential Local Government Summit is set to kick off in Midrand on Thursday, the 6th of April. And the theme for this year's summit is transforming municipal spaces for radical social and economic development. Joining me here in studio today to talk more about this is the Cocktail Minister, Des van Rooyen. A very good morning to you, Mr. van Rooyen. Thank you so much for joining us in studio. Now, what's the main objective of this summit?
Good morning, Rapid, but also a very good morning to your viewers at home. At the center of this important Presidential Local Government Summit is to ensure that we recommit to the implementation of our Back to Basic program. We will be doing this by looking at some of the achievements that have been realized since the last summit, which was held in 2014. As you are aware, in that summit, an approach was adopted called Back to Basic. And this approach places emphasis on certain pillars of our local government system. And this summit that is coming on the 6th and the 7th is meant to take stock of the progress that we have made hitherto, but also what are the challenges that we need to deal with moving forward. And this summit is also according us an opportunity to interact in a very, very collaborative and intergovernmental fashion, working, of course, under the guidance of His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Mr. Zuma, with all other role players and with all ministers, with all premiers, with all MECs, just to see to what extent are we advancing the course of our local government system.
Are you able to give us some of the highlights of achievements before the summit, or do we have to wait until the Thursday to actually hear some of the highlights that you'll be touching on?
No, the first day of the summit, of course, will be addressed by the President, and the second main key address will be from our a ministry that is dealing with monitoring and evaluation, because this is the ministry that is very central in terms of issues of integrated development approach. This is the ministry that will be sharing with us the lessons that have been carried in the first phase of our Back to Basic program, and what is it that need to be done differently. So we'll have a presentation from the Department of Monitoring and Evaluation, and then thirdly, on the first day, I will also give a progress report on the implementation of the first phase of Back to Basic, but also giving an indication on some of the key focus areas that need to be attended to in the second phase of this important program. The second day, of course, we are bringing in experts, people from the academic sector, people from business, and community-based organizations who will come and share their experiences, including also traditional leaders who will come and share their experiences as to how the first phase of this approach impacted on their day-to-day activities in as far as our developmental local government is concerned.
And just lastly, can you just take us through the theme of this year's summit, in line with the objectives that you have for this year?
The theme, as you have correctly outlined, we are looking at transforming local spaces for in the introduction of our radical social economic development agenda. So obviously, as part of this theme, we were expecting to hear a lot from participants around issues of how do we turn our local spaces into areas of radical socio-economic transformation. How do we ensure that our municipalities encourage communities to take advantage of all the opportunities that we are trying to create as part of our commitment to radical socio-economic transformation, but also how communities themselves can organize themselves to take advantage of these provisions, because our procurement budget, as indicated, well recorded, is close to $500 billion. So how are people taking advantage of such opportunities is something that will definitely be at the center of this summit, because we really need to address the deep-seated challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality, which are very rife at the local space.
Well, speaking about the integration of communities, do community leaders attend the summit as well?
Yes, as I've indicated, I mean, in the form of councillors, in the form of mayors, but also in the form of community-based organization and ward committees, we will be, and traditional leaders too, will be having a fair representation of community leaders in this important summit.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Vuka Africa. That was Mr. Des van Rooyen, Minister Des van Rooyen, talking to us more here about the program that's coming up, the summit called the Third Presidential Local Government Summit that's going to be kicking off on Thursday. And as he mentioned, it's a two-day summit taking off. He's outlined some of the objectives and what we can expect from the conference. But as you know, ANN7 will keep you posted on the summit as it unfolds.